Good morning, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, here at Goo headquarters. Yes, with camera Mandy behind the camera, but she won't show her face because her camera's not turned on and her lights are off. There she goes by to fix the problem. Yes. As I have said many times, it is kind of a low-budget production here. However, it is Saturday morning, and this is a far better thing to watch than Saturday morning cartoons, unless you're 8 years old, in which case there's nothing better than Saturday morning cartoons, right? So anyway, hope you're all doing fantastic. It is a wonderful, beautiful day here in old Colorado, where we are located, with the beautiful sun out and all of that stuff. And since we've been getting so much snow of late, it's nice to have a little bit of sun. So anyway, hope you are doing magnificent. We have a wonderful stream to do today. Notice how camera Mandy hasn't said anything yet. Oh, there she is. She finally got it up. There she finally got it all fixed.
Nothing's weird this morning. Everything's wonderful.
So camera Mandy, yes. Are you sure that the levels are right and everybody can hear me and all of that stuff and hear you and, all of those things?
I mean,
you could ask the chat.
I think the chat, there's nothing in there that says our audio is weird. So I think we're good to go.
Hello, snarky people out there in the chat. We appreciate all of the snarkiness and funness that goes on, and you are magnificent, and we appreciate you coming and being with us on Saturday mornings. Hopefully we give you a little bit of, joy and lift and all of that stuff, and something to laugh about on Saturdays. And we have such a magnificent community. I cannot even continue to say it, and it just boggles the mind that we have so many wonderful people. Obviously, Genghis Khan was magnificent. We had such a good time, and there's so many gooey people there, and lots of wonderful people who were not gooey, and some of them who became gooey. We had a huge number of people in the dungeon game show, and it was great, camera Mandy. Yes,
oh, absolutely.
It was a wonderful, wonderful time. And Andrea, excuse me, mitochondria, Andrea. Yes, I must talk.
Oh my gosh,
that's what she says to me all the time.
Is that what we're
right?
Gonna say?
And she always says that to me. She says, marvelous Andrea and Donnie, who run that magnificent convention, and they're up for next year. I had a chance to talk with them, and it's really, really going to be a fun con next year. So if you have the wherewithal and the desire, we'd love to see you at Genghis Khan next year. So meantime, though, speaking of conventions, right, camera Mandy, we are leaving here very quickly and going to Gary Con. Yes, magnificent. Where we are going to see some other folks. I think Mike is going to be there, and I think Rob is going to be there, and Melissa maybe, and who else? There's a number of folks going to be.
And Kentori is going to be out there.
Yes.
But I'm going to share one of my secrets.
A secret. Yes, this is the secret episode.
Oh, is this yeah, exactly. We're going to share lots of secrets. Yes. Here's my secret, is I'm going to be in a car with Alphinius Goo all by ourselves for 18 hours going to Wisconsin. So if you guys want to do a Q&A or want anything answered from Alphinius Goo, just let me know. And if you guys want weird pictures.
No weird pictures. I don't even understand this.
Anything to entertain us.
Wait a minute, Adam is not going with us?
No, Adam's flying out.
That's right, like Mike is doing.
And Mike is flying out,
That's
and
right.
it's just going to be the two of us.
Wow.
In a vehicle for 18 hours.
Oh,
so
Maybe I should fly.
Oh, you're going to leave me to drive out the giant trailer. Yes, you just drive out the giant trailer.
Yes,
okay, yeah, with all of your Dwarven Forge. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I only crashed the trailer once last time.
I know.
Remember? So it was only one time.
Oh, here's the secret.
Yeah, okay.
Alphinius crashed the trailer.
I just said that. It can't be a secret.
In a
gas station.
No, it was a fast food restaurant.
Yeah, but it was a gas station. It was pulling around the gas, and I hit the little pile, the little thing there, just a little bit. It was minor.
Yeah, he leaves destruction in his path.
Yes, Alphinius, the destroyer. Yes, that is I. Yes, magnificent. Well, listen, so we do, I'm going to tell a little secret that I'm pretty excited about that I think everybody's going to love. We're going to talk about some social media stuff, because there's been some magnificent things put up that we have not shown, some of Harry's minis and other things like that. And I want to talk a little bit about the Kickstarter, and thank you all for supporting. We're close to $42,000, and there's 7 days to go, and that gives us a good shot of making that 50K level, where we're going to give away some extra stretch goal stuff, which, well, you get it at 42 as well. You get it at 45. There's a great one at 45. There's a great one at 47. But that 50K, we had another little set of mini adventures to go into the Mornwood. So So just so everybody understands, the way I run sandboxes, right, is I tend to, I'm always prepared to improvise because crazy players do what crazy players do, right? Even players who are very experienced, they do all kinds of craziness. But I do like to have lots of little things prepared ahead of time. So what you're going to see as you look at this Kickstarter and you see what's going on is you're going to find, oh, I see kind of how Alphinius runs sort of a limited sandbox. Now, if you've run chapter 1, which is the Darkest Dream, you also know about a sort of confined sandbox, which is Carnival. But this is a little bigger, right? Because this is the fringy area of the Mornwood. There is this magnificent place called the Shallow Grave Distillery, which is not just a distillery, it's also an inn and a tavern, which caters to kind of a rough crowd because of where it is. There's a little area where sort of a semi-abandoned fishing village where people tried to reestablish, and now there's just a few folk living there. Very interesting little thing that'll come out as we do the Mornwood thing. There is Fife and Doo's, his sundries and supplies place. But then there's lots of little caves and ruins and other things like that that are around. And we, of course, have already achieved in the stretch goals the first of the Mornwood maps. So that's what I'm hoping, that's why I really want to get us to 50K. So if you don't mind, take a look at that Kickstarter, the Blood for the Con Kickstarter, and look at it, because it is incredible value for the materials that you are getting. And you know what we do. It's going to be beautiful with all kinds of artworks and all kinds of cool stuff. But as I was saying, it kind of also brings you some ideas about running sandboxes, some more sandboxy areas, and gives you some stuff. So what I do is I typically have the main adventure. And then what I'll have is a couple of areas that I know are kind of mapped out that I'm going to drop some breadcrumbs. But it doesn't really matter when the party goes and visits those places. Then I will have other places that have less. So they're just quick. It's like a single encounter kind of a situation. They go into and some of those are keyed, so I know where they are on the map, and some of them are completely unkeyed. So they are like NSREs, not so random events or encounters, right? That's what they are, so that I can just drop them wherever I want. And this way, I have lots of things that are prepared. And by the way, guess what? Most of them work in another forest at another time. So I haven't really wasted my time creating these wonderful little encounters that are there, and they're not that much time to create. But in this case, of course, with the Mornwood, we're going to create them all for you. And so you're going to have this marvelous little stack of stuff. You'll have the main adventure, but then as they travel around the forest, if they go to certain places, you'll have a cave with a map. You'll have a monster, right, in a glade, right? Or perhaps even just a strange tree that, why is that tree so strange, right? And this is what makes the world feel so alive when you're going through the Mornwood and having the main adventure and all of these other things are happening on the side. And suddenly it feels like it's much more immersive and much more enthralling. And of course, it comes with artworks and all of that stuff. So if you know a friend who you think might love to back our Kickstarter, tell them, give them a little, hey, check this out, And then
I'm cutting in.
Cut in, cameraman.
Okay.
Look at that. She just jumped all over me. This is what's called stepping on someone. Yes, this is oh, my face. Yes.
Okay, look,
okay,
I'm
continue
not as good of a
Mandy.
salesperson as Alphinius. It's just like, this is just truth. Okay. But here's what I know is this is an incredible incredible deal. I know because I'm so stressed out about it. As everyone who saw that little social media video that I did knows. The value is just absolutely insane. And I know that we're at a higher price point than a lot of other adventures out there, but we genuinely pack so much in. The artworks are of such high quality. The locations are of such high quality.
And by the way, Camera Mandy, all done by humans. All of our artworks are made by humans.
Yes.
Continue. Keep going.
No. But yeah,
keep going.
Absolutely.
Cut back from me.
Oh,
there
my
you
gosh.
go.
Okay. Well, anyway, all I'm saying is the whole deal, the whole package, the quality of the writing, the quality of the artwork, the quality of the locations, the ideas, the NPCs, everything. And you can get it all for like $90.
Yeah.
And like, just because.
So that just so everybody understand,
yes.
That's the Mornwood campaign guide, which has right now already one 17 by 22 map that adjoins the current map set that we have for the Darkenhaven box set. If we can get to that 50 grand, which I think we can, Camera Mandy, we'll see.
Oh, I think we will.
If we get to that 50 grand, you'll get a second map, right? So, this is pretty exciting, right? So this is a pretty exciting thing. So, and one of my secrets today is that what people do not know about the Mornwood is not only is it being impacted by a number of interesting forces and powers that are messing around there because of certain reasons, which I'm not going to explain all those certain reasons, but there are motivations for these certain powers for doing what they're doing. There is also in another area, a little deeper in the forest, an Aethernic ruin. And the Aethernic ruin. So the thing is that what's going on here is you have the impacts of the 9 that are returning, which many of you know about if you've kind of been reading the prophecies and some of those kinds of things. The 9 that are returning, and this is having an impact, and this is kind of the genesis of the necrosic druids and all of this stuff that's going on. But you also have the influences of the lords of corruption that are there as well. But there is also a third sort of nefarious thing going on that I think people are going to love, right? And it's going to make for great tales for game masters. So you get, excuse me, I get to scratch my face. So you get the Mornwood campaign guide, which comes with the 1 map and hopefully 2. You get the adventure, the Blood for the Khan, which is going to be big. It's going to be like Witch's Wrath. You know, it's going to be like Menace in the Mist. It's going to be thick with, you know, there's a bunch of portraits that are going to be in there, all kinds of wonderful artworks, and a really wonderful tale, which is the main aspect of the adventure. Now, this actually will not be the end. It will have an ending because I want to do a sequel for this next year for Genghis Khan. And so this will be the first installment, and it will have an ending. So you won't have to feel like you got you got to wait a year to get the next one if you run it. But it will have that. And then on top of that, Camera Mandy, we did these wonderful little the first major side quest, right, which is the Truth Lies Cold, which is a fairly nice little adventure that goes on top of that, which is part of the stretch goals. Then on top of that, if we get to 50 grand, you're going to get these, little mini encounters, mini adventures, which all come with a piece of artwork, a lot of them with maps and all of that kind of stuff. And then on top of all that, we've got the treasure maps for the players. We've the extra portraits, extra special item cards, extra areas. It's really it's what we do, you all. I want people to love what we make, and I really believe the more people are exposed to what we do, the more folks we're going to have as fans and friends. And I can't tell you, to all of you who have backed and helped us, and it is wonderful, and thank you. Thank you. So if you have a minute and you go check it out, or you know somebody who you think would love to back us, give them a tell and say, hey, check them out. And certainly if you have players that you think you might want to take into the Mornwood, they could back us just for the player's guide, which, by the way, you also get in digital format for free as part of the campaign purchase. I mean, it's just a ludicrous, you're right, Cameron, it's ludicrous value. It is wonderful. So
I am going to cut you off and start doing social media because it is already 10:15.
I apologize. Yes, I was rambling, Alphinius. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your support, my friends.
Do go check out the articles by both Mike Dunn at Gaming Trend and Egg Embry, where Alphinius does interviews.
Yes, Marvelous Mike and Marvelous Egg. Magnificent, yes. I still have an itchy face. I don't know what's going on. It's a mosquito bite or something like that, yes. Anyway, yes, no, Mike from Gaming Trend gave us a wonderful interview, and so did Egg from N-World, and we just appreciate the friendships, and people don't know this, but I've been threatening for a while that Egg and I are going to collaborate on a little adventure, which will probably happen later in this year or early part of next year, called the Egg of Kru'ut, which is an homage to a long, long ago certain personage in the Blackmore campaign that was so famed as one of the beginnings of this whole magnificent TTRPG thing. So, Mike, thank you. Egg, thank you. Appreciate you very much. They're good little articles and not too long. So if you want to check them out, you can do that. All right, what's next, Cameraman D? Oh,
I also forgot to mention that one of our portrait winners never filled out their form, I don't think. I'm checking right now. Uh-oh. So we actually might be re-rolling a portrait winner today.
Yeah, we might. That could be one of our secrets.
Yeah, well, yeah. Just to be clear, Alphinius had no idea what his secret was. I'm going to call you out.
That's not true.
I'm going to call you
I
out.
have like 5.
But now the whole theme of the episode is secrets.
Yes, I have like 5 secrets that I was thinking about, and I've got one that I think I'm going to bust out here pretty soon. But let us continue.
Yes. So Bella Maurice, this is your last call. If by the end of the episode you have not claimed your portrait, we're going to go ahead and re-roll that. So
yes, come on, Bella. We got to get you taken care of here.
Yes.
So make sure you let us know.
Okay. Next up, I wanted to shout out
Addie.
who did these amazing cufflinks for Adam. And then I'm also wearing her earrings today.
Yes, and I've been threatening on this community store too. You got to get that done this year. That has to be this year.
Definitely got to get that done.
So we're working on that, and it's just there's so much to do, friends, and all of you, you know how it is. You got day jobs, and trying to do this on top of your day job, and by the way, just jumping back to the Nordrukka campaign because I do want to jump back to this. It is designed specifically to work with Darkenhaven and the Gloomport. That was the idea behind it, right? Was to give another wonderful locality very close, very proximitous to the city where your party can adventure. So it really gives all this wonderful mix between dungeons and the Gloomport and the city and the Mornwood and all that's going on there that is all proximitous. So they don't have to travel really far. So it is really, really good. Yeah, isn't this something, Camera Mandy?
Yeah, so this is part of the campaign. Also, I see everyone in the chat saying that they want gooey hoodies. And
I know.
We are working
yes,
on
I
it.
know.
I know Riley had some traction on that. I don't know what happened with it.
So we'll look at that a little bit. What we need to do is let people make an order. See, here's the problem. The problem with these things is that we're a little company, and we are. And we put all of our money into our people and our materials. There's never been profit, and there probably won't be for a while. And we're okay with that, okay? That's part of the deal. That is why we're so thankful for you helping us with the Kickstarter, because that helps us put money to our people and to our product, okay? So what we're doing is trying not to have huge amounts of inventory sitting around, which is where you tie up all your money, right? All these things stack up. So you buy a bunch of shirts and it sits around and somebody buys a shirt here and somebody buys a shirt there. So I think what we need to do, Camera Mandy, is we need to just put out, we're going to make a series of hoodies, right? And send out emails and talk about it here and have everybody take an order. And as long as we get to a minimum order of probably 50 or 70 or some stupid number, whatever the shirt company does.
Right.
Because you
have to buy them at both prices.
And you don't make a lot of money on shirts. I just want you all to know that this is not a money-making thing. This is fun, right? This is being able to have the goo on your shirt, right? So we can maybe do that, Camera Mandy. That might be the way to do it. And then we can get if enough folks support it, then we can make some gooey hoodies. I would love one.
I would, I mean, we all want good. I agree. We all want them.
Yes, and that's a gooey hoodie, not a geeky hoodie. Let's just be clear, right? There's 2 different things there, right? Go back to that thing. Go back to that.
No. I'm gonna
just real quick.
We gotta keep moving.
Just real quick. So this is
getting so long
this is one of the
today.
conceptual things for the Mornwood, right? Which is what's going on is not from the lords of corruption. It is a corruption, but it is different. Yes, the 9 are coming. And the world will be different, my friends, indeed. Yes, okay, continue. Now you can
Since we were talking about shirts, I thought I'd flash over
Chris.
to wearing to St. Patrick's Day. Gooey is great for St. Patrick's Day.
Now listen, I want to say something too. I know that there are some folks who take exception to St. Patrick's Day because of certain things in history. But I truly believe at this point it is not about that in any way, shape, or form. It is about a celebration of Irish culture. And so I don't, for those of you who feel like, this St. Patrick's Day is yucky, I do want you to know that from us, we certainly do not in any way, shape, or form subscribe to any of those kinds of ideas. But we are very supportive of different cultures and different peoples, and we want to celebrate those things. And so because of that belief set for here, so if you see something about that and someone is frustrated, please don't be frustrated with us. Please understand that we always try to look at the positive of things and try to avoid the negatives. And we really do believe that this sort of thing, this St. Patrick's Day, has really become a celebration of the Irish folk. Well, and we're pleased to do that.
Yeah, and I will say, my dad is...
Cut to you real quick.
Oh, well, it's such a pain.
Everybody likes seeing your hat and your cute little face and, all of that stuff,
Okay. My dad is full-blood Irish.
Haitian Irish.
Yeah, he's his parents had immigrated over. And so for us, like last night we got together and he made all this Irish food for us. It was a really fun time. So genuinely do not ever mean to offend with any of that as well. It's just, for me, it's just a time for family.
It's a celebration of Irish culture. It really has become that. You know, it's just unfortunate that it is associated with some bad things that were done.
Yeah. But again, just always think, with us, we're always trying to do the best we can and never trying to offend.
And always trying to be positive, right? That is the idea, right? And I do think that for all of us, you know, we need to work on that, right? To try to look on the positive side of things and not always look for the negative.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing I love about our community is I really feel that happens for the genuinely across the board. And I appreciate you all for doing that. Anyway, Chris, this was fantastic. You know, Shazam is kind of a weirdo.
We did really get off on a tangent there, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Well, I just wonder. I don't want people who have their feelings hurt. You know, I don't.
I know. I totally agree. And I mean, we've seen other things too. Just know that we're never trying to be offensive.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Next up, this is actually pretty cool. So first off, you put this in the den.
Yes, and you can see if you bottom in that corner there, you see the couple of airships tethered to their towers. Mm-hmm. Now the thing is, here's the thing about these airships: Dark and Haven does not allow them to fly over the city. They are not allowed to tether in the city, which means they come in through the maw, into the gloom port, and that is where they may tether. So dragons are also not allowed to fly over the city. I don't know what they do if a really big dragon wants to fly over the city, but they're not allowed.
How are they going to stop it?
Well, they do have those dragon shooter things, you know.
Like Dragonheart?
Yeah, or like when the Game of Thrones, right, where they shot one of the dragons out of the air. Remember that?
Don't bring that up. Don't make me cry on the stream.
Listen, there's some mean old dragons there in the world. They're not very nice.
Not mean dragons.
Yes, they are. They're going to fly over the city and burn it to the ground.
Okay,
are you kidding me?
That was not their fault. That was Daenerys. Oh, well, I mean, we're getting off. Hopefully nobody's like watching Game of Thrones.
It's Daenerys' fault. The dragon didn't do anything wrong. The dragons were kind of like dumb in Game of Thrones. Let's speak the truth. Does everybody agree the dragons in Game of Thrones were kind of dumb? Right? They couldn't talk. They kind of went, and they kind of sort of semi-understood, right? I think most people agree.
How dare you right now?
Listen. Anyway, let's go back to this. So you see the airships right there. So they're in the gloom port, right? And then Marvelous Edvard is doing the art for these. And I'm really leaning to the one on the top. I
think we should do both.
Stop it, camera Mandy.
Okay,
God. Yes, we can't do more stretch goals, but let's do both. Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a very important announcement regarding the Gloomport, and we've kind of talked about this on the show before. So there is an official Hatters gang in the Gloomport, and they are about. Alphinius, let me just cut to you right now. It's happening. Me and Marcus have been working on it. Anyway.
Marcus.
Here's the deal. It's a very cool gang, and
it's a very cool gang. Of course it is. No, I get to edit this stuff, Yes, I have the final say. Continue on, camera Mandy.
Okay. If you would like to be part of the Hatters, I'm just going to give you a brief overview. Basically, they are about workers' rights in the Gloomport. They're about helping people who don't have the means to defend themselves against terrible work practices. They're a very good group. Sometimes they go into nefarious places, but for the most part, they try to go through political means to help the workers.
Yes, let us be clear. Let us be clear that they are a wonderful, helpful group on the surface. But those of us who have played Call of Cthulhu, thank you, Jeff, we know that there's always something dark and evil beneath the skin. Yes, the Hatters.
Alphinius is getting a little dramatic here. Okay.
Yes, the Hatters.
All of this to say, what we are doing is if you would like to be a part of the Hatters, you can send me an email at cameramandy@gooeycube.com. I have a list of people who've already sent them. And everyone gets to pick out a style of hat, and they get to put a minor magical ability on their hat, and we're going to have a whole page of these really cool hats. And so if that's something you would like to be a part of, it doesn't cost any money. You just send me an email, and it's just a way to have like a little contribution in the world of the Gloomport.
So there is another secret that we have given away today. The Hatters exist. Anyway, let's go back to this.
Okay.
So I'm really leaning to the top one. And the reason I'm leaning to the top one is because it really gives a player's perspective, right? If you're in the Gloomport and you're at this sort of terminal area, this tethering area where the airships come in, this is where what you would see if you were standing down there. And so my inclination is to, now of course you could see as well the other perspective, but I just feel the drama of the one at the top is a little more, right? And
I think it just depends on the perspective.
well, they're both beautiful, right? And that's why I was torn, right? And people know because I was commenting with them that I was torn between the two of them. And
I agree with Nordrukka. He says the top one has more motion dynamics and drama, but I also think from a very cinematic perspective, and you think from a very dramatic perspective.
No, you're talking about the top one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or sorry, both of them. Both.
Yeah, well, the bottom one has listen, the artists we use, we pay them well.
Yes.
These are I want great art, right? And so we want quality and
anyway, either one is going to be amazing, and I know you're going to go with the top one, and you probably should. Okay, next up, Harry.
Oh, Harry.
I have a few things from Harry.
Yes.
Oh gosh, I keep messing this up too.
Yeah, there she is.
So this is Essie from our
Yeah.
pre-gens, and along with this, I have another announcement.
Is it a secret?
Not really, but kind of.
Oh.
Okay, so those who have joined us at con games before know that we have pre-generated characters that you can play. We have gotten lots of feedback on our pre-gens, and we are working on revamping the initial 12 of them. However, we are adding another 12 pre-gens, and part of that is we're going to be doing a writing contest starting April 1st, where you can actually contribute backstories for those characters.
And that's not an April Fool, it's April 1st, yes? And
Yes.
yes, so we're going to let people have some fun with that. So we think if you want to be involved in that, and they get a character sheet of the character,
Yes.
right? If they win,
They get like a character
they get
folio.
a character
with the
folio,
character.
right?
Yes.
So it's worth their time to take. It's just a couple of paragraphs, few paragraphs to do that, and you get a character folio with the character on it, and
I believe there's a grand prize winner, and I think the grand prize winner gets a custom portrait.
is that true?
That's what you said.
Oh, is that what I said? Must be another secret.
I think that's what he said. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong here.
I don't know about that. I don't remember that. But of course, there's many things I don't remember.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a geezer now. He's a geezer wizard.
I
Yes.
do know that we have something awesome for a grand prize winner. I thought it was the custom portrait, but I could be totally wrong. I should be looking at my notes from Mark. But anyway, it's going to be an awesome contest.
It's probably you and Mark conspiring to,
No,
we just gave away portraits.
I confirm all this stuff with you. I really do. Genuinely.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yes. Oh,
I'll look it up.
Really.
Anyway, so with that said, that's going to be starting April 1st. It's going to be a really fun. We picked out 12 really interesting and diverse portraits that they're ripe for amazing backstory.
Amazing.
It's going to be a really fun contest. So, have you seen the final 12 portraits yet?
So yeah, I don't think you showed them. But anyway, this is Essie and Harry. I just want to tell you, Harry, your work is really marvelous. And so this is another little secret. So I haven't really talked to Harry about this yet, but I think he's going to be fine with it. I think we're going to, with the Guys and Gaks Kickstarter thing that we're going to do in a few months, where we do, work with Luke and pay homage to Gary. I think we're going to try to see if we can talk Harry into making a few characters that go along with the Guys and Gaks theme, and I have another friend also who would like to do that as well. So Zach wants to do that as well. So I'm hoping that I'm relatively sure Harry would love to do that. And I know I'm springing it on you, Harry. I almost called you on Friday, but the day got away from me.
This is how I found out stuff too, Harry.
But Harry, Harry is just really, really wonderful.
Yes.
Just really wonderful.
And
So-
they have a great one.
Is
that's
Harry in this
printed.
chat today?
Yeah, Harry's here today.
And then this one, so this is Thomas's character, and just a magnificent gnome and wonderfully sculpted too, and it's just, I just thank you, Harry, for bringing this amazing thing to us, to all of us. I mean, you've just blessed so many people with these magnificent creations that are their characters from their portraits, and nobody's paid you, and nobody's, you've just done it. And by the way, friends, Harry does have a My Mini Factory patron, and I think for $3 you can support Harry, and he definitely is growing his numbers of folks. And I would encourage you to go give Harry some love for his My Mini Factory site, and he has just done so much for not just for Gooey Cube, but for many people in the Gooey Cube community. And my anticipation is he's going to continue to do so. So thank you all for your friendship of Harry and helping him out too. All right. What else, Camera Mandy?
This is very cool from Alex. We have a portrait, and actually Alex, his fiance, is one of our portrait winners.
Oh,
so because he won
not
one
fiance
of our,
anymore.
I don't know if this is
yes, they just got married.
But has it been officially announced?
Yeah, I think the wedding day was like a week ago.
Okay, well, I just don't want to put out any news on our stream that isn't out
Alexander,
there.
Alexander might be in here. He'll be on his honeymoon for all I know, for goodness sakes. But no, Alexander is, of course, Heather was our first Aetherian, and Alexander is now our second Aether. And really, both of them, their portraits are magnificent, and this one is really, really good. And it's wonderful to have folks being represented not just as humans or maybe as elves, right, but also as some of our new folk. Of course, Lawrence, long ago, wanted to be a Garund, and so we had to actually have a Garund, right? And of course, Keith, I believe, was the first of the Sarth that we did, and then of course. Pam didn't really do it as a portrait, but she cosplays Black Bonnie all the time. So Pam, we kind of count Black Bonnie as you. Anyway, all right, it's magnificent. Let's keep going, Kimberly.
Okay, I think we're almost.
Is that the last one?
Oh, I just had a bunch of people were showing off the swag that they got.
Belinda, thank you. This was magnificent. I love the Baby Yoda
thing
going on there. Yes, and that's some wonderful stuff right there. James helped us with the Witch's Wrath. James, right? And then Kevin helped along finishing it off, and AJ and of course Magica with all the work that Carrie put into that, and all the hard efforts that AJ and I and quite a number of other folks, Josh and Kaya were magnificent in helping with that, and all of the essayists that put in things, and of course Jim Hibbs with his marvelous spell listings that helped us with so many spells. And it really came together as a magnificent tome, and I'm incredibly proud of it. And of course, right now, Camera Mandy, we're printing the covers for all the limited editions now, so that's really exciting for all of you who got the limited editions of Cyclo 1 or Cyclo 2, Cyclo 3, or Magica. We're getting ready to print those things and get those out. So keep going, Camera Mandy.
Okay, so we had this one from Ben, who
and Belinda, it reminds me, when Belinda comes up there, and of course that takes me back to Genghis Khan and Brad, yes, and Alfabio and all of that stuff. Hello, my friends. It was magnificent.
I have actually a picture of this. Well, I don't actually have.
Who was that before that though? That was who the one right before?
Oh, that was Ben.
Oh, Ben put that up. Yeah, thank you, Ben, for sharing that with us.
That's what he picked up. That's his Genghis Khan haul.
Yes.
I had one more from Michelle. So Mel has been working really hard to ship out a bunch of stuff. We've had a bunch of packages go out. So keep your eye on your mail. Okay, so last but not least, the Great Gooey Dungeon Game Show GaryCon is coming up on next Saturday. So we will not have a Goo Morning Zyathé next Saturday because we are going to be, I'm sorry, should I cut to myself? We are going to be running the Great Gooey Dungeon Game Show an hour later. So normally we're at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for Goo Morning Zyathé. The Great Gooey Dungeon Game Show will be at 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
We'll probably put up a little bit of feed right at the beginning so that all the people who don't get this message will actually get the message. Right?
I'll see if I can manage that, but we're going to be very busy.
We can get that done.
Well, okay,
all these poor people are going to show up for Goo Morning Zyathé and go, what the hell is going on, see. Right?
We'll make sure that it's all over social media. The other big important thing about this, though, is that it is not going to be streamed on our Twitch channel. It will be streamed on GaryCon's Twitch channel. And because of that, the interaction portion of the show is actually going to be done in Discord. I also, if anyone is available that day to help out in the Discord, I need some help because the voting is going to be a little bit different. I just want to make sure people are able to figure out how the voting is going to work. I can walk you through that. I'm going to put some tutorials up in the Gooey Game Master Den of Enlightenment and in our Discord to make sure people are aware of how it's all going to work. With that said, we are going to have amazing prizes, especially online, because I actually think we'll probably get a bigger online audience than we will in person. I think we've only sold like 21 tickets.
Well, it's now I'm going on Luke's Lounge on Sunday night. So if anybody wants to check that, I think it's 5 o'clock Mountain Time. On Luke's Lounge with Matt, and I'm not sure if Luke's going to be there or not. I think he is, but they're going crazy, right, trying to get ready for the convention. But we're going to talk a little bit about the Great Gooey Dungeon Game Show and some of the other things that are going on, right? And so that'll be a lot of fun to be a part of that. And then, of course, we're going to do our best to make a magnificent stream and a magnificent show. But I bet, I bet we end up with 100 people in the room, even though they have to take a shuttle and all of that. It's kind of a hassle to come to the game show because you got to get on a shuttle and you got to travel to this other location. It's not really easy to walk to. So. But it's better for the acoustics and it's better for the room. And
then they're the ones dealing with the stress of streaming it.
Yes, right.
This is why I'm very excited for this game show. Same with Gen Con. If I don't have to run the stream and I can just do the Discord, that's going to be awesome for me. So just to follow up on some questions here, there is going to be, it should already be active, but maybe it's not. There's a separate, or it's in our main Discord server, and then there's a separate little tab for special events, and all of the voting and stuff will be under that tab. So I will, again, post all this in the Gooey Game Master's Den of Enlightenment, but if you just go join our Discord, you can find the link for that at gooeycube.com/giveaways. There's all the information on that page. There's the rules for the game, and it has both the Twitch channel that it'll be streaming on, which is GaryCon Live, and it will have a link to the Discord server.
Yes, magnificent. And we hope you'll join us. It will be fun. Like it always is, and we'll see what we will see, yes, as we go forward. But anyway, this was magnificent. So much fun with Tommy and Donnie and Andrea, and Andrea. I got to do that right. Mitochondria, Andrea. I'm sorry, Andrea. I just can't do it. It's something wrong with the the brain. Yes, it's a problem. So. By
the way, like Kentori, I was already planning on you being up on stage for Team Twitch. Kentori is going to be at the actual show.
Yes, she said she would come and help us a little bit.
Yeah, well, she's going to need to be on stage. Like there is, she is one of our very most active, Twitch people who join us every single. She has got to be one of our representatives.
Well, let's just do it. Just plan on it. And she wants to come at 11 and help us set up. And come on.
Oh yeah, please. Anyone who's there who can actually come help us set up the dungeon. Yes, oh my gosh,
it's a big
We're going to need help.
Yes.
Anyway, we need to move on to book club. Actually, there's a few things that we should do, but.
What do you mean? There's a few things we should do.
I need to re-roll our winner for.
Should we not wait for at least? Do you think it's?
I sent them. First off, they did not fill out here. Let me go on my little tangent here.
Tangent.
We have given so many warnings about that prize sheet, and they did not fill out the prize sheet, and I sent them messages, and they have not responded back. So I feel like it's fair to re-roll it at this point. That's all I'm saying.
You know what happens? Here's what happens.
What happens?
2 weeks from now, they reach out to us, and now we got to do another portrait, which isn't really...
because I said if you do not fill this out, we have to stand by our word.
What does the Twitch stream think about this? Tell us what you think, friends. And no bias because we re-roll for another portrait.
If it was you in this situation, what do you think is fair? If I sent them out an email and said...
email? You didn't have their email, did you?
I sent them a Twitch message, and I said, if you don't fill this out by the end of the week, we're going to re-roll your prize. It's like... You guys tell us what you think.
The problem is we have no way to contact them. We don't even know what their name is.
I sent them a Twitch. The only way I had to contact them was through, anyway.
And the problem is you get those Twitch messages up in the corner, and Twitch is always sending you messages. So you look up there and it says 47 or 133, right? Because, you get all these spammy messages from Twitch, so you have no idea that you have actually received a message from someone that's important, right? That's what I think about. Oh, and I also figured out that goofy chat thing, by the way, for these events. And my apologies to all of you. But as you scroll down the new event thing, it's very hard to note that this chat thing, they defaulted to on rather than off. And so every time now, whenever I create the event thing for this, I've got to make sure I turn off the damn chat thing or everybody ends up being in another chat.
Oh, I know. We did find that out. I'm really sorry about that.
No, that is not our fault. That is a Facebook sneaky move, right? It should be defaulted to off. And you should turn it on if you want to activate chat. That is just silliness that it defaults to on. It is just silliness.
Okay.
And my apologies to everyone. I had no idea I was doing that over the last couple of weeks as they made that change. Now I can go on my tirade, Camera Mandy.
Everyone in the chat is very pro re-roll because they said that we have been very clear about our rules and how we handle these things, and we also gave them a second chance to fill out the thing. So,
so it's not a re-roll; it's a hat, right? We have to pull it out of the hat. Right?
I'm doing a random number generator. However, I have to pull up the actual portrait and stuff like that, and I can't remember what I called it. So
oh my goodness gracious, we are low budget production, friends, low budget. Anyway, let me do something while she's doing that.
Yes.
So our marvelous friend Anthony, I supported Anthony's company called Aether Objects, and Anthony makes very wonderful dice. And you know, I made a nice purchase. But I ended up getting a lot of extra wonderful things. I'm gonna push this forward a little bit, cameraman. I'm looking at myself in the thing, but you can see this is quite beautiful, right? This is magnificent. So Anthony sent me quite a number of additional wonderful dice that are made, and the presentation is magnificent. Look at this magnificent box, and it comes with a slip cover, and you know the presentation, you know, is just truly magnificent. And I wanted to give a little props to Anthony and Aether Objects. They even have a dice display. You know, you've probably seen these before. There's another wonderful, and some of these that I received were the greens, right? Because I'm big on the green die and all of that stuff. But again, even the single dice, like the one I just showed you, come in these marvelous little packages. And it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful. So anyway, Anthony, thank you. I appreciate the gifts and the friendship. And of course, John and Scott and the whole family has been incredibly supportive of the Gooey thing that we are doing. And it is our honor. And thank you for adding significantly to my purchase. We appreciate you so much. So Aether Objects, if you, another member of our community who makes cool stuff. And remember on Mondays, always take a peek at folks that are putting up their posts, because we have a lot of talented folks in the community who are doing amazing things. I've used some of the painters in the community. I've obviously backed a lot of Kickstarters for folks in the community and tried to support those things. And where we can help each other, that's always a good thing. All right, Camera Mandy, are you figured it out yet, or have I vamped for time enough for you?
Okay, thank you.
Excellent vamping, Alphinius.
Okay.
So now you get the chance to win a portrait. That's what's going on right now, right?
Yes.
But again, was this the one we gave away?
No, this will be one for someone who has not.
So if you've gotten a portrait before, unfortunately, you can't win this one.
Yes. Okay.
But that's my secret.
And I can't do it the same way I did it last time because we're
Hold on. That's my secret.
Oh, what?
We're going to give away another portrait.
When?
But not today.
Okay.
We're going to do it.
Are you going to make me, seriously?
Yes.
I have to keep doing spreadsheets?
We have to figure out another method. We have to figure out another method.
All right.
It's just one more portrait. And this way anybody can win. So we'll announce a little bit about that here in the next week or two. I want to put a character. William's character, Elijah, is already going to be in Blood for the Con. Of course, we have Donnie and Andrea in there. Andrea, God, I'm going to get there. Camera Mandy.
So,
Andrea, I'm going to get there someday.
I'm going to generate the number right now.
Okay, there's a random
481.
481. So now she has to look at the spreadsheet. Remember how that works. She's got that big spreadsheet that she made. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So now she's looking up 481. And the name is...
It's not letting me...
Oh, it's not letting
Sorry,
her.
I'm on my phone.
She's trying to do it on her phone. Low budget production.
Where did all my numbers go?
Camera Mandy, just write down 481.
Okay, I will
we can
figure out
announce
who
481 is next week, right? But we got the game show next week, so we got to make sure we remember to do it for the game show.
I will post it in
Oh
the
my
day.
God, it's chaos. I hope you all have fun with us, because I have a lot of fun.
Oh
But goodness gracious. Camera Mandy.
I couldn't get it to log in on my computer. I can't remember my password.
Adam, save it. All right.
Anyway.
We got to do book club.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Hold on. Let me go to the book club screen.
All right, the book club screen. Let me put on my spectacles.
Hold up your book. So I have Alexander's wonderful little Gooey Cube bookmark.
Mr. Goo. You're a mean one. Mr. Goo. Thank you, Alexander. It's marvelous.
Yes.
So this is page 63. Now, when you get to this section, this section here, the page before speaks to the lands of Zyathé. And what we wanted to do was to give a good overview of each of the lands. Of course, our long-term plan is to do exactly what we did with Verdestia, East and West Verdestia, with Sundestia, where we'll do an East and West and Sundestia because it's so huge. And I don't, these books can't be 400 pages anymore. 250 pages that grow to 400 pages is a little outrageous, right?
I have a question.
Yes, Cameramendi.
Because we were talking about Verdestia. So Verdestia has this like split here that just happened, right?
It happened during the Woe of Ruin, 1,200 years ago.
So
Anim's past.
As I was reading this, though, it occurred to me that there was lots of land that went underwater.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, something
What
just
was
fell on my
that?
desk. It was the ferret portrait from Michelle.
Oh, my God, Michelle's ferret portrait.
Okay, wait, focus, though.
It's still in good shape, right?
Yeah,
Didn't
it just slipped down.
Oh, it just slipped. Okay, good.
Now it's back up again.
All right, good.
Okay, my question was, could there be treasure in the oceans where it went underwater? Because there was like a significant amount of land that went underwater, and I'm guessing there was like things on that land.
And it was the seat of the Eternic area because Verdestia in those times was kind of being used as one of the bread baskets to feed all of the folk living in Resplonzia and on the flying cities. So indeed, Cameramendi, without question, in the depths, and it is not too deep, by the way, in the depths here. Sorry, I'm doing this without showing you. In the depths between, yes? How's that, Cameramendi? Can people see that well?
Yes.
Yes, in the depths. I can't do it with my finger. Yes, right there, in between, yes. In the depths between. Many Eternic ruins beneath the waves. Yes.
So who are
and corruption, which is always associated with the Eternic's ruins.
So let me see if I understand this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are there people who actually like go and search the seas for this treasure? And if they do they get corrupted?
Well, you of course know that exposure to the corrupting influences can create problems for all of us mortals, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And even for the gods, right? So this is part of it, yes. But there are other things there, for there are huge sea creatures, dragons, leviathans, and other monstrous things that swim beneath the waves. And so searching these ruins comes with much danger apart from the corruption. Yes, that is the truth, and that is why you must beware when you enter this portion of the waters of Zyathé. You like that, don't you, Cameron?
I love it, and the audience is really liking these. People are wondering, are there undersea peoples or undead people in those waters?
Indeed, yes. So we have not revealed some of the races of Zyathé yet.
Oh.
And there will be more as each continent is revealed. Yes, there will be more. The fire race has only been talked to, right? Which people know a little bit about. The Feymerals only talked to a little, but there are more to come. And yes, there are those who live beneath the waves. But perhaps it's not like you think with the Little Mermaid and all of that kind of stuff. No, not at all. Yes, much more savage and dangerous, and not exactly prone to go walking around on the surface. But enter their domain at your peril, my friends. Yes,
Right.
More to come.
Interesting.
You want me to read anything, or do you want me to just talk about it?
No, I think we're just talking.
So when you're here, so this first section is going to explain all about Verdestia, right? Which, of course, is massively expanded upon in East and West Verdestia, which are magnificent. And, of course, each one of those has a 17 by 22 times 8. Actually, in the East Verdestia, it's times 9 poster maps that make up each one of the continents. And that's our plan for all of them as we go forward over the next few years. So, as I've mentioned many times, we get now that we're getting close to the end of this Kickstarter and some of the things we're doing, it's time to get the Sundestia team back together. And of course, people are screaming for the Verdestian monster manual sort of thing, so we're going to have to look at that. And it's just, there's so much to do, Cameraman. I have 300 plus artworks of monsters, many of them submissions from our people. Over 300, well over 300 of them.
Well, you should make this monster.
What monster?
Who lives in the corrupted pineapple under the sea? Sponge Bob SquarePants.
No. Never.
Okay.
But that was funny. Who did that?
Belinda.
Oh, Belinda, very funny, my dear, very funny.
So,
right. So if there's questions from the chat too, please feel free. Throw some things up.
Yeah, I don't think we should break down too much for Destia because we're going to be going into those actual books after this.
That's true. We can we can kind of go past Verdestia if you want.
Yeah, there was a few really interesting things about like East Verdestia, which we haven't talked as much about because even though we've written the book, still most of our adventures take place in West Verdestia at this point.
Yes, but of course the whole Geisenachs thing, right, is going to take place in East Verdestia, right? Actually in Vanzentia, right? At the border of Vanzentia along the Mithril Mountains. And I think I mentioned last time we're going to have this marvelous town called Ebloom, which is an anagram for Hamlet, and Blun, which is an anagram for Nob. Because we're really trying to pay homage, and we're going to lampoon just a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of humor and some funness that goes along with the darkness of the whole Geisenachs thing, right? So we're really, really excited about it. We're going to, that's another one of my secrets. So, keep your eye out on your emails and things like that this week, because there's going to be a page that's going to go up, and we will announce it at GaryCon. And the page that's going to go up is going to announce sort of this coming thing we're going to do with Luke and when it's going to start and all that. But if you go to that page and you pre-register on that page, it's not a Kickstarter page, it's just a pre-register page. At the end of the Kickstarter, if you back us, you will get a special gift from Luke and I for your backing. And so there'll be some limitations to that. You can't just back us for $1 and get the special gift. But people who are reasonably backing us will be able to get that special gift. But it's only for the folks who do that pre-register. I cannot. So, Cameraman, I got to digress. Just for a moment.
Gosh! No, I got to.
I got to digress. You have no idea what, for me, this old man who started playing this wonderful game in 1970, whatever it was, to do this with Luke, to honor Gary, and do it in our way with all the art and the magnificent things and the tale and all of the stuff that we do. It is like, I don't know how to top it. I don't know how, all of our stuff is great, but I don't know, how do you top that, Cameraman? How do you, as a opus in your creations of things in the world of TTRPGs, how can you top that?
Maybe you don't have to top it.
Maybe you're right.
Maybe you just keep writing amazing adventures in an amazing world with your friends, and it's just awesome.
Just part of it all.
And it's just always going to be awesome. So
all right. Anyway,
all this to say,
I cannot tell you. It moves me almost to tears to think about it.
I do think it is absolutely incredible. I love the opportunities I've had since I've been working with Gooey Cube, like getting to meet some of these titans of industry.
Titans.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited for GaryCon too. With that said,
so do we want to go to a little bit over?
Whoa, hold on.
I'm sorry.
Have questions about your thing.
Oh.
The pre-register link is not up yet.
It's not up. We'll be sending it out. We'll be talking about it here. We'll talk about it on the Gooey Game Show. You will have plenty of time because Luke and I have already talked about before this thing even, we're gonna get a pre-page up where people can follow. We're gonna do kind of a media thing out there. We're gonna talk to folks. We're gonna get hopefully talk to some influencers and give them some money to support us. We're gonna put some fairly significant dollars behind this to really make it special and hopefully bring thousands of backers. So the stretch goals, as crazy as I am about these things, right? The stretch goals are going to be magnificent. And I hope you'll tell your friends. It'll be as special as anything that we've produced. But it won't be starting for a while. This is just beginning the process of it. That's one of my secrets, right? Was that that you all are getting that most people don't even know yet, and I cannot. I'm astounded at the fact that we get to do this and do this with Luke is unbelievable. I never thought it. So it's wonderful. All right, Camera Mandy, how'd I do that?
Great.
Didn't vamp too long on.
I mean, it's only 10:56.
10:56. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. Yes. What we still have to do?
Okay. Now, with that said, we're going to move over from Verdestia to Nordrukka, which, if you look at the book, is, I believe, this.
It's on page.
Yeah. So here's Verdestia.
It's on page 67, but it's not numbered because it has
I'm
no.
showing the maps.
Yes.
So here's Verdestia. Verdestia. And then Nordrukka is actually right up here.
Yes.
And there's some really interesting conflicts that are happening between the two continents.
So Nordrukka, this is the important thing. So again, in the world of Zyathé, there are no necessarily any peoples who are evil or good, right? In fact, most people are they got evil people and they got good people and they got sort of people in the middle and all of that kind of stuff, which is kind of mirroring the real world, right? Some cultures are more aggressive and vile, and some cultures are more progressive and kind.
Well, here's one thing that I found interesting when reading about Avuva, is that all of this was made in his image, or their image. I don't know if it's I don't know that there's a gender associated with Avuva. But with that said, it's really interesting to me that it has all shades of complexity in there. It's not just good people,
That's right.
Humans and humanoids and people all have complexity, and you have to have all of those shades.
But that's what makes the great tale, cameraman. Yes. You are right. You are spot on. The fact of the matter is that the Arachnoids were created by some gods who made them a little more warlike, a little more aggressive, right? That they were made that way, right? But they were also made with a people with a high sense of honor, and there's much, this was all in them, right? But they were oppressed by the Eternic empire.
Yeah.
They were pushed out of their lands. They were abused, right? And so, in their minds, and I would think in a lot of people's judgment, their anger is righteous, right? And their brutality is fierce, but it is also maybe not totally unwarranted, right? So this was the idea of the creation of the Arachnoids, was not that they were sort of like this old school D&D thing where they were, sort of just all orcs are evil, right? It was this idea that they're a complex society that has been treated poorly, and they're striking back. And so this is the wonderful dynamic, right? Because what we created with Verdestia and Nordrukka, right, is the Magdranog area, which is the northern part of West Verdestia, and Nordrukka, which is up there, is fully controlled by Arachnoids. But the Arachnoids of Nordrukka, the warlords up there, are not super happy with Hernesh, who controls Magdranog. But the reason is that Hernesh is very enlightened. Hernesh has seen past the hatred of the past wrongs that have been done, and is looking at the great danger, not just to Magdranog, but to Nordrukka, the Republic, and the rest of the world that is in the vile desolation. And that is why there are rumors in very, very secreted corners that there are actually talks between Magdranog and the Republic about what to do about this terrible thing. And this has made the war chiefs of Nordrukka, if they hear any whisper about it, just chew their teeth, right? Because they hate for reasons the children of the Eterns, which is what they view most of the other societies as, because they feel like they were terribly treated, and they were terribly treated. Their ancestors, themselves. And so this is what creates this wonderful stew, this magnificent feeling. So Nordrukka we have not explored yet, right? Other than speak to it. But I can't wait for it, Camera Mandy. because the interactions between the war chiefs and the way the structures are and how their political machinations work, right? You know, this kind of thing. I've always got to remember that I've got to look this way.
If you're looking
if
at
I look
me,
that way,
no.
we should have. So I always got to look
Wait,
at
what are
camera
you
Mandy.
talking
Hello,
about?
camera Mandy.
No, you're talking off screen. If you're like, or I guess I don't
Hello,
know.
camera Mandy.
That's hilarious. But
So-
if I look at you, so it actually.
Yes, it works great for you. It just
Yes.
doesn't work so well for me. Yes, camera
Okay.
Mandy.
So first off, I love the conflicts that are going on there, and I think that in this, even in just like there's all it is like one little section on Nordrukka, and I think there's a lot of stew there for
yes.
like interesting characters. For instance, you do talk about people who are mixed race between humans, because there were humans that had tried to settle there, and since then they have been
No,
like
they were the Kalantans. They did,
Yeah.
you know, and Magdranog became out of Kalanta as part of the war. And they literally took it over all the way down to Covenant. And honestly, there are many who believe it is quite possible that they might have actually overtaken the entirety of the western side of West Verdestia, okay, had it not been for what happened in the Vile Desolation and the raising of the dead. And so this is the magnificent thing, right? So now you have the Republic, the Vile Desolation, Magdranog, and Nordrukka, and there is conflict between them all. But there are strange alliances also being made. Right? Sorry, cameraman, look this way. There are also strange alliances being made. Right? And so this brings all of this. And part of, and frankly, I think if you asked Harnesh, and I'd have to ask Jim, because Jim worked really hard helping us make Magdranog, wonderful work that he did. But I think if you asked Harnesh directly, what Harnesh would tell you is that yes, the influence of the Kalantans and their more democratic direction of society, even though it was a sovereignty, it was a little more democratic, has had influence over his thinking. It has brought the idea that perhaps the Arachnoids don't have all the answers, just like none of us do. And so Harnesh, in trying to be a student and learn and understand history and understand, you know, how functioning societies work and how can Magdranog become a great power, right, without just having to go and beat on their neighbors all the time, because that doesn't always work, right? He is looking at these new ideas and these new thoughts, and he's being influenced by those who were there before. And Harnesh has actually, even to some consternation of some of the subordinate war chiefs in Magdranog, has freed the slaves. There is much that is to be admired by what Harnesh is doing in Magdranog. But of course, every time he makes these moves, he pisses off the war chiefs in Nordrukka, right? And so I could foresee in my campaign the possibility, as the future pans out, that the Republic and Magdranog actually could become allies against the Vile Desolation and Nordrukka. And that is magnificent, right? That is the political and the overarching thing that makes the world feel so alive. And that's why I love it, cameraman. I just love it. And so much wonderful help from our community in making these places. It is magnificent.
Agreed, and I'm looking forward to like hearing this expanded. What I was though kind of getting to was how these continents kind of interlace. So basically, there are these, the like half orcs and Ordrin,
Yes.
who are like mixtures of like half.
You could be
Ordrin
part Garund,
Yes.
right? Part elf, which is an Ordrin, right? You can have bugbears interfacing with the Garund and making Oraguru. We tried to not have everybody be able to just mingle. Yeah. I'm trying to be PG-13 here, cameraman.
In my version of this, an orc fell in love with a human, and that's how half orcs are made.
Yes.
And there's nothing else that happened there that created these races. So anyway, but all that to say though, playing a character that is like half orc or half human, or the Ordrin or whatever, would be very interesting character driven, because like on one hand, they accept these people into their tribes, right?
They do, but they are sort
still
of looked
kind of
at.
outcasts.
They're not strong enough,
Yeah.
right? Because they're a little weaker, right?
Yeah.
And in a society that has really been based for many centuries now, many centuries on might makes right, right? This is where the thing has changed. But there's other things that are going on in Magdranog that affect Kondazug is very important. And if you have West Verdestia and you've read about Magdranog, you know what I mean about Kondazug. There is an incredible little tale in West Verdestia that is worth reading. But see, this, what you're saying, Cameraman, is right, because it all sort of begins to come together. And not only are the Nordrukkans not really happy with the Verdestians, they're also coming across the peninsulas and the islands, right, going out towards the east, where they're conflicting with the Shaowen Empire in Estrenia.
There's so many layers of it. I know. But the other thing too is like, I always think about it as from like a player, and there's so much, if you like are a player and you do get this book, you could create such an incredible character out of just what's in here. And
well,
so
plus it's a great, it's a great read.
It is a really good read. But then on top of that, so that's in Nordrukka, all this stuff is happening. But then you like go over one other page to a Bloom, which is kind of like our North
Let's
Pole.
do a Bloom next week.
No, we will. I just want to say one thing.
Yes.
One really interesting thing, because it ties in and we won't remember it next week. So basically there's an island in in a Bloom where it's a colony completely made up of half races who...
Indeed.
And I just thought...
Because if you are in the Republic and you have Arachnoid blood within you, you face a little bit of prejudice. Right? Oh, sorry, cameraman. You face a little bit of prejudice.
You don't have to worry about it.
We have to figure that out. We have to do this so that I can do this more naturally.
It doesn't work. I don't know how we would figure it out.
So you kind of get a little, it's really not terribly bad in the Republic, but there's still a lot of hard feelings because, let's speak the truth, most of the people in the Republic think we didn't do this. The Etherns messed all this stuff up. We're just trying to live, right? And these lands were not occupied when we started coming here. The Arachnoids were all up in the Northlands, right? So and then they come down and they kill all the Kalantans, and a bunch of Kalantans come down as migrants to try to escape the war. And this is what it is, right? This is why there's rarely in these things is there sort of one perfectly right point of view, right? So this is what makes it great.
There's no right, because you can understand why the repressed people who are living, because the other thing that we really haven't talked about are the climates of these places.
Nordrukka's hard.
Yeah, and so of course, like the people who are living like really hard lives in these like terrible climates would want to get back to better land, more fruitful land, more easier climates, and they've really been pushed out.
That's exactly right. Right, and then a Bloom, though, again, we wanted to do things that made a little more sense, right? So, what you might call frost giants, right, in the world, in the other TTRPG worlds, are going to be more prevalent in these cold climes. So when you go to places like a Bloom, right, you're going to have a very, very different dynamic. You're not just going to find the same creatures everywhere, all over the place. Right? Because that's kind of disinteresting. That's why we want so much for Sundestia when we go further with Sundestia, with our marvelous Sundestia team. We want that to be really steeped in this Egyptian, sub-Saharan Africa, Near Eastern India. We're going to mash all that up like we mashed up South to Eastern Europe and North to Southern Europe, right? We're going to mash all that up and take their mythology and try to bring their monsters and their creatures so that you have a really different experience as a player versus just kind of finding the same damn thing every continent that you go. And plus, it makes for more interest for the game master as well to run those localities. So that's what we're excited about, Goo Morning.
Okay. Well, anyway, we can wrap up this week. We're 10 minutes late.
Sorry, y'all. Hope you had a great time today. Yes, the secret of giving away another portrait. I got some more secrets.
There's so many secrets.
Yes, many coming. So anyway, if you don't mind, please give us a little support on that Kickstarter if you haven't. If you can, tell someone, let's get that thing to 50 grand. I want those 2 maps bad. For me. I want them for me, right? So and I have backed the Kickstarter fairly significantly, as Camera Mandy knows. Camera Mandy has also backed the Kickstarter. AJ has backed the Kickstarter. Our folks here at our company have backed the Kickstarter. So you are not the only ones being asked, right? So we put our money where our mouth is as well. And this is the dog days, as you all know, the last, the sort of middle days until the last 48 hours, 72 hours or so it doesn't really climb. And I don't know how much we're going to climb at the end, right? You know, it's based on followers and what people perceive. And, you know, and there's a lot of Kickstarter backers who back and then they back out and you know, that just happens. And so whatever you can do to help us in getting this finished. If you didn't get the physical of the player's guide, but you might like the physical of the player's guide, put that in your pledge as an add-on rather than waiting to the end, because that adds to the total. And we can't tell you how much we appreciate it. I mean, to be where we are with a Kickstarter, we didn't really push very hard. We sort of wanted to do it to honor Andrea and Adani, and to honor Genghis Khan and have some fun with it. And lo and behold, it is actually going to fund our folks for at least a few months, which would be wonderful to be able to do that. So thank you all so much. I hope you have a marvelous Saturday. Anything you want to say, Camera Mandy? We good before we run?
We won't see you next Saturday here. Remember, twitch.tv/GaryConLive, and we'll be running the Great Gooey Dungeon game show at 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
Yes, and we will figure out who 481, was that the number? We will figure out who 481 is here soon. Have a marvelous day, my friends. And may all your adventures be sticky. Ha ha!